Hello again. My name's the Reverend Simon Archer, and I am the priest in charge of the parish of Arbury and Castletown, and I'm also known as the Isle of Man Vicar. And I'm going for a bit of lunch, to be honest with you. Hopefully not too long a video or too long a walk, but I thought it's not raining. Well, it was spitting a bit on the way up here. It's a pretty nice day, so I thought I'd come out and grab some lunch. And explore some potential wild camping spots as well. So I'm on Druidale Road, which is pretty remote, very quiet. I've seen one cyclist behind me here. Now, I'm not sure exactly where I think I'm somewhere near or around Montpelier Woods, but I don't think I am actually. But hey, it doesn't really matter. I've got some footpaths marked on my map.me app, but I'm not sure I can actually see a footpath, which is quite interesting. But we're going to do a little bit of a walk, just an explore. I'm not going to go too far. Find a spot if I can. It's fairly flat. Behind me over there, sorry, just behind me is my left ear, I guess. I think. Anyway, let me show you. Just up there is Snaefell. So we're quite high up. It's amazing, beautiful, stunning, all the words that I'm rubbish at. Why is my phone buzzing? Oh, it's trying to do some kind of I don't know, Siri thing. Oh, don't say it, don't say the word. Some AI thing or something, I don't know. So anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd bring you with me. I'm gonna have some lunch, gotta find a spot to sit down and eat, and trying to stick to footpaths, trying to stick to the places I'm allowed to go. You know, it's like you just kind of, some of them aren't walked very far. There's a little bridge over behind me there, which goes in another direction. So it's definitely marked as a footpath. And there is a sign here that looks like it was a footpath here at some point. Whether it still exists, I don't know, but we'll see. And we've got beautiful. Let me turn this around. Again, you don't want to be staring at my face, so let's have a look. We have got a beautiful little stream running through. Just a little simple bridge. Little stream running down here. There is a name to this stream, I'm sure. I believe I've seen it. What are we looking at? Okay, done with that. Here we go. Renas, Rhenass River. Renas River. So I think Montpelier might be further up the road just a little bit. But I've got some stories to tell you about Montpelier Woods and Montpelier House. Yeah, here we go. There is a bit of a footpath here. Perfect. So we're going to have a wander up here for a little bit. It's mild. It's about 18 degrees. It feels fine. T-shirt weather, definitely. I've got a little light fleece with me just in case. See, just up from the road there, what's that like? Beautiful oak tree. I'm clambering under. Little rocky, possibly not ideal. Back to the footpath. We're just going to walk up here a short way. As I say, really, it's just to come out and grab some lunch. Not cooking anything today. Got a packed lunch with me. Got a couple of nice bits in it though. There's a new sort of camping, outdoor camping, wild camping group on Facebook. Last group sadly closed down. I think the person running it just got a little bit fed up with it, so that's fine. So a new one's been started up, and it's just called, I think it's just called Camping IOM. And someone posted a pic up here this way, and it just like looked quite beautiful. So I thought, why not? Let's have a little peek, see what we find. There's kind of a path here. Ah, here we go. This is where they camped. So now we need to get across, which wouldn't be too difficult, he says. Got my walking boots on, so they've got good grip. Yeah, it's a bit marshy. Getting back could be fun. Jumping with the camera. So, there's my toes. Jump. Let's see if we can step down. Let's not do anything crazy. It's at this age where you realise you're not as athletic as you thought you were. So this is what we don't like to see, and that is places where people have had fires, and you can see that those who've had fires have left silver wrappers and things like that, and plastic wrappers that they've clearly thrown on the fire to burn. But you're much better with that sort of thing just to take it with you, take it away. This is quite flat, and it's really is just a few steps, so it's probably a good spot. Great thing about my camping is that I go often beginning of the week on a Sunday night, or I've got Mondays off, you see, as my rest day. So I tend not to be out at the weekend when other people are out, because I'm quite busy being a priest. I work Sundays. I'm usually quite busy Saturdays, occasional wedding, prepping for Sunday, that sort of thing. But yeah, this is reasonably flat, by a nice little stream. I could get water from that with my grail if I wanted to. I know people, right, I'll tell you some stories in a minute. I know people say these woods seem a bit spooky, but I think it's just beautiful. But why not stop here, have some lunch, and we can keep the length of the video down. All right, let me start getting set up. So we're going to go for a little setup here, and it's just really to eat my lunch and have a little chill out, relax, tell a couple of stories, and that's about it really. So I've got my chair again. You can perhaps show it a little bit better here. Last time I did this, it was at the side of Vicar overlooking the sea, with winds being about 30 mile an hour. Well, no, they're probably 25 mile an hour gusts. It was a little bit. I wouldn't have been able to fly my drone. Got my chair out and I was worried it's going to fly away. Cooking steak and eggs. So depending when I put this video out, it'll either be, you can see that on Friday. I don't know where to put this, if I make this, if I have time today, to put this out straight away, almost. So that's how easy it is. I'll put that together. But it wasn't very flat where I was, and it was very windy, and the chair worked fine, but it was just, it would have been better to, where am we going with that? Right, it's fairly square, this chair. It hasn't got like a lot to tell you, which is the back and which is the front, but there's a little net pocket, which I assume would only work if it was down that end, so I'm guessing that's the bottom. There we go. I have a chair. Let's have a look. We're going to pop that. So we get to relax by a lovely stream. You can hear that burble of the water. I think I could go to sleep to that sound. Obviously this is a known spot, so because there's campfire spots there. I tend to, if I'm using like a fuel stove, I'll do that in a fire pit that's already there, just because it won't help. It helps not catching stuff around it, but I wouldn't actually make an open fire. If I do use twigs and stuff sometimes. When I do that, it's within a twig burner that's contained. So I did that on my camp down quite near South Brew. I did it my camp out with the old abandoned Tholton. Another video you can go watch. Yeah, when I did that camp, I used the fire pit. I used the stones around and put the little wood twig burner in the fire pit, so it wouldn't cause any problems, even though it was a fire pit and you could put logs on there and all sorts, but I didn't. What have I got? Oh, I've got stuff to make a cup of coffee. That's nice. So I haven't brought my big gas stove with me today. Put that in there for now. I've got my little portable kit that I'm going to try and promote a little bit more. Not because I'm selling one, not yet anyway, but because I just think it's the way to go if you want to get out into the wilds. This didn't take me long to get here. Get out into the wilds and have a cuppa. That's a little folding table. Folds flat, really nice. Gives you something just off the ground to put stuff on. I'll probably cook on the ground still. It's only a little oil alcohol burner. So this is my tiny little, almost pocket-sized cooking kit. You can cook with it, definitely, without doubt. I've used the same burner to fry up my breakfast before, but this is going to be just to cook a little, make a little cup of coffee. Quite nice here. So, wife and I always talk about sort of the areas we like and the places that we like, what you might want to retire to, the sort of landscapes and things like that, the places we'd like to be. Oh dear, that's a bit of plastic. That can go in my bag. I don't know if it was mine or not. It might have been, actually. Not to blame anyone else, but we'll pick that up. Probably pick up some of the other rubbish as well before I go. I've got a bag with me. If not, I'll just chuck it in my bag and wash my bag later. Yeah, we talk quite a bit about sort of where we'd like to be. I really like the countryside. I find it more interesting than the beach. She likes the sea views, and I understand that because it is amazing as well. But I quite like places like this. Do you know, if I could retire to a little house out here in the middle of nowhere, I'd be quite happy. There's these incredible trees around me, lots of old different types of trees. I don't know all of them. There's oaks and all sorts, ash, yeah, various different types, and you got the streams, the paths, the little undulating hills. We got thistles growing and reeds by the water, ferns, all sorts going on. Yeah, it's just more interesting to me. I like the piece of it. But who knows? A lot more of the properties around here. Probably cook on here, couldn't I? A lot more of the properties on here are around here. The towns and stuff are by the coast, because that's where trade was and business was and everyone was. So I'm going to use my little. See, can we make this work? If you've ever watched me use this little wind guard that I've got, it's quite fun because it always pops apart as I'm trying to put it together. I've worked out you need to bend it out a little bit once you take it out of the cup. and then it tends to want to stay together a bit better, he says. And usually what happens is I get to this point, it does that, and everything falls apart every time. I've thought about getting another one, but like maybe find a better quality one, but I'm going to make this one work. This is the Tom Shoe Titanium. I'm not in some mad rush, but that actually fits around the little stand. Not all this came together. I'd love it if it all did come together, but so this is a little, very lightweight. Looks like a little shoe polish tin, and with some special felt in there which soaks up the alcohol. So it's a non-spill stove. And I've got my mug. Let's get this up properly because I always forget to put the top up. This is a Luxarda Titanium 750ml pot. And I have these tiny little oven glove type things that just go on the tips of my fingers to take it off. Right, let's get this all done round the right way. Washing up kit. There we go. Got my alcohol. Let's get water in there first. Yes, the only thing being by water is you start getting bitten. So this is the thing about camping by water or by woods, is that you tend to get a lot more of the mozzies and stuff. I do have, not with me, of course not with me, I do have ow, I hit myself in the ear and deafened myself because there was something biting me. The joys. See, I'm trying to encourage you to get outside and I'm getting bitten by mozzies. Right, maybe a bit of flameage might keep them away a little bit. Probably not though. I've got a little candle set up, which is it's a little lantern. Can't remember the make of it. Got a little lantern, quite a famous maker lantern, like candle lantern, but it's got I use citronella candles and it keeps all the bugs away. So this is something to remember for next time because they are starting to gather. Probably attracted by my bugger off. Attracted by my I just swore sorry by my the CO2 I'm emitting. So we'll get this lit. God, I'm going to enjoy this, aren't I? I probably use too much, but it's fine. Then we'll get this little arc lighter. It's lit, and we put the pop the pot on top. I spilt some, so it could be that I burst into flames in a moment, which will probably make the best content. Let's put that in there. I don't need that for anything else. So we've got our pot going, and I'm using instant today. I'm not using my clever coffee press that either you will see in the next video or you'll have seen in the last video, something like that. I'm thinking I'll get this one as a quick lunch out and get it posted, and that's fine. That's heating up. Alcohol can go away. It's not horrendous. This isn't like being next to one of the Scottish locks or something where they are horrible. And probably quite easily fixed by having those citronella candles lit, just to keep them away. Do keep a little lighter in there as well. This is my folding spoon. from Lixada. So I couldn't find the set, but I got the set as the cup, the pot. Both the cup and the pot have their own bags, and it came with like the spork, so you can eat with it, and you can just mix your coffee with it or whatever. And I just added the it's the Polymath products. So Polymath, Polymath. You can find them on Amazon and eBay, and they do a little tin. They do it with a different guard though, a different wind guard with it, but it does come with. You can get a set which comes with one, and that is the tin, the stand, which I find really useful, and their own sort of larger wind guard. But I find this little round titanium one works a treat and is so much lighter and fits all in the pot. So that's what keeps my pot size down. But the pots, I must admit, were probably 30 quid, something like that. The pot set cup has its own lid as well, and the pot with a lid. But because it's 750ml, you can cook stuff in there. Noodles is great, easy to do noodles in it, stuff like that. There we go. Little table was from Temu as well. Starting to wonder whether that table's come apart a bit too much, but anyway. So a little kind of flip out table, just does make things easier. Chair of Temu, and it's very comfortable if you're used to sitting on the ground when you're going out and camping. And my little lunchbox is from Temu as well. God, too many Temu stuff, isn't it? But it's a little lunchbox which has some cutlery with it. So it comes with a fork and a spoon. I think that's all it came with, unless the knife's been lost, but probably fork and spoon. I've got a couple little lunchbox like that. They just do the best ones because they're, say, Asian, which means they're kind of containers and pots and sometimes chopsticks, which I'm fine with. Little knives and forks or knife, fork, spoon, or a kind of spork or something like that with them. And we've got about 3 or 4 of those. And it's handy because it's got little containers and it works it out. So I've got some Greek salad that I made. I got some crisps that I put in there rather than keeping the packet, because the packet protects the crisp but is quite bulky. It tends to get crushed. And underneath I've just got a sandwich. Oh, and a biscuit. The biscuit didn't quite fit, and it was just like a cereal bar kind of biscuit. So I just broke it in half and put it in. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be biting into it and eating it anyway. So yeah, I've got a little lunchbox in there. I'm going to make my cup of tea first, and open my lunch and drink my coffee. Cup of tea, coffee, and then I'll eat my lunch. It's a good spot. Like it. Wasn't too difficult to find. Oh, yeah. It is a shame when you see a few bits of like detritus and bits and bobs around, but I think the last people I saw who took the photo and stuff, they're very careful. So it's probably just someone else who's been up here. It's clearly a known spot, but I'm sure it wasn't them. But we were going to be trying to really promote that leave no trace idea, and I just don't understand the need for these days. You can get really good little like titanium folding fire pits and things like that. And I know it's nice to have a nice big fire in the woods and sit around the campfire, so to speak. But we know now that it does a lot more damage to the surroundings. You can, up here is probably not so much, but in places people do it and they end up starting fires, grass fires and things. And they could be catastrophic for the nature and for the surroundings, and even for property and buildings. So yeah, no fires on the ground, you know. But I'm not the law. I'm not policing it. Just would like to encourage at least people not to. I don't think it's as bad when you see people do the little kind of small fires on beaches. Just, I know there's probably a risk there as well, but when it's a pebbly beaches like we have here, and people have their kind of fires out on the beaches, I guess it's just stones underneath. I'm sure there's some life and insects and all sorts of stuff as well, but I don't know. we'll keep promoting it. Some people decide that they can do it and they're okay with it and they've got it under control, and some people will be better than others. But I used to make campfires when I was a scout, and we used to have fires on the ground. We used to dig out pits and things to do it. Oh, that's meant to be up there. I'm hearing bubbling. Is that hot or is that okay? It's getting there, nearly there. So we're only a few moments away. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about why we're doing this in this way, and why I think this is the best way of if you can getting out and getting your cuppa and your lunch. There's a huge mental health crisis, as we know, kids and young people, but massively men are really struggling with mental health. I've had my times when I've struggled, and I was able to access counselling through a charity. That's not everyone's experience. A lot of people are waiting for a long time to get mental health support, but through a charity, through the church, well, one that supports members of the clergy and members of clergy families, I was able to get some support, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm not gonna apologise for being able to get something. I was wondering if I was going to burn my fingers, but actually that handle's all right. So that's done. Do I leave that burning for a bit? Might keep the mozzies away. Yeah, let's leave that burning for a moment. So I was able to access counselling and get help and things like that. And if anyone thinks you'd have a charmed life as a priest, I can tell you that that's not always the case. In fact, it's quite often not the case. Huge amounts of responsibilities. Your job is about as varied as it can get. You spend a great amounts of your time dealing with people who are themselves going through massive emotional stress and strain, and whether it be a wedding or preparing for a baptism, but obviously with funerals and grief, and some of those funerals can be really painful, obviously for the family, but it's hard to explain that you bear quite a lot of weight, even though you don't do it alone. I believe I have faith, so I believe that God is with me through all of that. But it can be quite traumatic. Then you get bits like bullying in the church. You absolutely get it, where certain people, you've got a big group of people in a church. Not everyone is going to be the nicest person you've ever met. Christians are humans, and you've probably got people in your family you don't get on great with, don't we all? But I've suffered some bullying in the church, and it's can be horrendous. I've had all sorts of I've had targeted abuse, and someone who with mental health problems of their own who targeted me, and I've also had just a member of a church who would not let up, continually trying to undermine me, belittle me. He called me things like, "Our young Vicar, oh, you're not very experienced, are you, though? I'm much more experienced than you." And the thing is, this goes off on a tangent, but I've been a volunteer police officer. I've run a pub. I've been a doorman, a DJ. I've travelled a fair bit. I've worked with charities. I've been in the church. I've worked in urban priority areas, which are kind of the bottom 10% of like the poverty scale. It goes up to very wealthy to very poor, so bottom 5-10% of below the poverty line, and worked in quite tough, rough areas, lots of knife crime shootings, assaults, and people trying to break it. I've had plenty of experience. I'm a worldly person. I've not lived in some cute little village somewhere. Isle of Man is very different to where I've lived before and what I've done before. So, and I've managed teams of 25, 30 people. I've managed stores, branches. I've worked for the most valuable company in the world. I worked for Apple as a solutions consultant, and working in basically training people. I worked in sales, and I've worked in all sorts of areas. So I've had plenty of responsibility, plenty of life experience, plenty of working with other people. So It's not through inexperience or naivety, but honestly, there's times when it's been really tough. I'll tell you a little bit of story about that in a moment, but times when it's been tough and I needed to access counselling. And I think there's huge numbers of men, and I'm not saying women don't have mental health problems, because of course they do. Men and women, children, old, elderly people, all sorts, but there's a big group of youngish men, 25 to 50 probably, who are the most at risk for mental health and for ending their own lives as well. So, yeah, things that you could do, just being present. The videos I make, part of that, I know the group that I reach, and a lot of the group I reach are that group, exactly that group. When I used to be the gaming vicar, Vicarious BIG. And so as the gaming vicar, that's what it was about, was reaching people, especially during COVID. And a lot of those were young men who were struggling on their own, with no real network or structure. And yeah, they appreciated the fact that they could sit there and chat and message and play games with me and all sorts of stuff like that. And that was what that was about. So what I'm trying to say is I'm explaining my situation, not for any kind of sympathy or pity, but just to say, however strong someone looks, or worldly or experienced or resilient, which I don't like that word particularly, to be honest, resilient, anybody can suffer with their mental health. Huge amounts of it's chemical imbalances and stuff like that, and there's stuff medical going on there. So it's nothing to be ashamed about, and anyone who's in that state should get help. Absolutely get help. Over here we've got Our Listen, we've got Samaritans, we've got pretty good mental health care. Actually, can always be better. Our Listen are superb. Isle, as in ISLE, I'll listen. But there's plenty of mental health support out there. It's been harder to access GPs and through GPs and getting mental health referrals, and that's awful. But yeah, it's something that we can change just by being around and listening to people and being present and encouraging things. But the whole thing with this little kind of set, I think the actual burn itself is about £6 on its own, but I think the set I get was about £15, and that was, you wouldn't need necessarily the guard or the stand, and that was the burner, the wind guard, and the stand. And then you can get a cup, you can get cheaper sets, but a little cup set like this, and find somewhere. There's nowhere that's that far away from somewhere you can go, a little beach somewhere, a little patch of woods, it doesn't have to be like I've got here. A beautiful little valley by some very interesting woods and in the middle of nowhere. You can find, there's always country parks, places you can go. Somewhere you can go, you can keep this kit on you, bottle of water, some instant coffee or tea, and then just go somewhere, get the alcohol and a lighter. Most of it you can keep together, and you can go somewhere, and you can make yourself a brew, and you can relax and you can get away from it. You might take a radio with you or your headphones and some music, or you can do like me, and I'm making videos, but just sit by a river and listen to it gurgling and burbling away, and perfect. And what that does for your mental health is incredible. Nature, creation, as I would call it, creation has this natural healing ability. Anybody you know goes wild swimming, goes sea swimming, goes walking, hiking, camping, wild camping, getting outside. It fixes you. It absolutely fixes you. I keep looking to see if there's bugs in there. It's all right at the moment. So fix you. It's healing. So it's really important that you do your very best to do the things that are good for your mental health, to recognize that you might need help, and help can come through people, and it can come through self-care as well. I mentioned about resilience. So resilience is a horrible thing because there's lots of resilience training now and how to be more resilient. And I think sometimes everybody else should just have be nicer training. I shouldn't have to be more resilient because people are meaner and nastier and say horrible things. I should actually, we've all got a natural level that we're pretty okay with that. But we shouldn't, as people get meaner or nastier, or things people say become more awful, and the way people are treated these days, it gets worse and worse. I think they should learn to be better people and nicer people, and I shouldn't have to be tougher and tougher and tougher to resist it. The resilience training is, I don't know, a little bit of a problem for me, shall we say. The other thing I was going to explain, so again, with my experience of with the Church of England, is, and I say it's made me who I am, and my experiences has formed me, and I have no doubt it's what was supposed to happen with me. But when I was a curate training, I was in a tough area, big church, lots of people, and I was a curate being trained by a training incumbent, and training incumbents commit to 2 years. They say 2 years, 2.5 years. They've got to say, I'm going to stay for 2.5 years. And the point of that is, you don't come in and they leave, because they'd leave you without a supervisor, without training, without support. But unfortunately, my training incumbent was offered the position of archdeacon. Or she obviously applied for it, I guess, and went for it, or was asked to apply for it, and she became archdeacon. And it's not really something you can turn down. Now, I would say responsibility lies in two places there. One is my training incumbent, because they'd committed to 2 years. If I was in the same position, I would say no, because I've committed to 2 years. I really would. I'd never be an archdeacon, don't want to, not interested. Yeah, I'd say no. I've said no to becoming an area dean, which is kind of another level of responsibility. And that's because I love my parish ministry, and anything that takes me away from that is not something I want to do. I love people. For an introvert, that's quite interesting, but I love people. And people never think I'm an introvert, but I am. I love serving people, and I feel like anything that gradual move away as you become archdeacons and bishops and things like that, I just feel, takes me too far away from those one-to-ones, those things, those bits of service that I love. So I wouldn't do it. But yeah, so I ended up, my training incumbent left, became an archdeacon, and she left before I was even made a priest. So it was in like the first year. Maybe a year had passed, but it's slightly different how my diocese at the time, Rochester Diocese, did it. So I'd been a deacon, and you were a deacon for a year, and then you're priested. But they'd left, my training incumbent had left before I was even ordained a priest. And so literally, I went straight from being ordained to taking all the services, to taking all the Holy Communion services, all the funerals, weddings, baptisms, everything. My first wedding I took, I did without supervision, on my own. I did it all right, and I knew what I was doing. I reached out for the right kind of help and support and stuff. But basically, my first wedding, I did solo, without any supervision. Shouldn't happen. Imagine that stress and pressure, that making sure you get everything right legally, that the organisation is right for the day, that you've got a sermon to do, you've got to preach, you've got to lead all through this service. Imagine that pressure, but without any support. It's crazy. And I nearly burnt out during that time. I had to reach out to my archdeacon, because I got to a point where I was going, I just can't do this anymore. I was ended up being the chair of the PCC, and all organising rotas, services, meetings, and I was treated a lot by the congregation, which is probably a real privilege and honour to be as almost like their incumbent, like their priest. But I wasn't. I was a trainee, and I had to keep reminding them I'm training. I was right up for a 2-1 on my degree. That dropped down to a 2-2. I may have even got a first, but I was probably up for a 2-1 on my degree when I left college, and it just deteriorated because I had no time to study or to do the stuff that I was supposed to be doing during my training. So yeah, and that really affected my mental health, and I was exhausted. And when I left to go to my first post as an incumbent, I was still probably too exhausted and too tired and too wrung out. I'd emptied my. We always talk about our cups, and it's a really good analogy or metaphor for priestly ministry, because we use a chalice, don't we, when we're giving communion, and we're always pouring it out to other people, and we've got to remember to take some for ourselves, and we need to fill that cup. Otherwise, we're just empty, and we'll never, we won't do a good job. A couple of bits of advice that got me. So I had an amazing person in my life, a priest who called the Reverend Canon Chris Dench, and he was a real inspiration. And he just kept reminding me that it just needs to be good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. I had that at college as well. We were told at college, good enough. Don't think everything has to be perfect. God manages to make all things right. Your worst. And it proves it when you do a sermon and you put all that effort into a sermon. You think you have this amazing sermon, and you deliver it, and you feel nothing back. And you do some rubbish sermon that you put together in 10 minutes beforehand because you'd run out of time and something had come up. You got called out to the hospital in the middle of the night. You didn't have time to prepare, and you do this crazy rubbish sermon that you think is useless, and 10 people come up to you after the service and say how good it was. So it's that classic meme of the old guy with the grey hair sitting there with his mug, and it just says, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. And that's sometimes how it feels. But yeah, so this stuff, me getting out into nature, camping, wild camping, making a brew out in the wild, finding these little places where you can get some solitude and some space and some peace. It's all about my mental health, and I would 100% recommend it for anyone else's mental health. So I wanted to talk about that today, and just say you really need to take care of yourselves. Everyone does, male, female, but I know I've got probably 70% of the people who watch my videos are male, and I just want to, and of that sort of 25 to 50 age group. I know there's older and there's a few younger, but please take care of yourselves. You know what I say? Take care of yourselves. More importantly, take care of each other. God bless. And I say goodbye at the end. I'm not saying goodbye now, but it's absolutely true. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. That idea, you've heard it before with the self-care thing being like on the airplane, when it always says on the airplane with the oxygen mask stripped down, make sure you put it on yourself before you help anybody else out. You have to look after yourself, otherwise you've got nothing to give, or what you give won't be as good as you could do, because basically you've wrung yourself out, drained yourself, emptied your cup, and you haven't got anything to give. Right, it's been serious for a while now, hasn't it? But I've got some spooky stories. I don't know whether to save the spooky stories for when I camp here. That might be good. Yeah, let's wait till it's a dark night and I can put the torch under my chin. What have I got in here then? Right, I've got some crisps. That burner's gone, well and truly gone out now, so I can put that to one side. There we go. Put that to one side, put the stand to one side. Spoon can go with that. Don't need my spoon. Don't need that. Don't need my oven gloves. Got my cup of coffee, and I've got my little lunch box. Let's show you what I've got here. Ugh. Don't kick your coffee over, Simon. So I've got this little lunch box thing, and inside it, I've got sort of knives and forks there, and then I've got a little pot of, that's my crisps, and that's my Greek salad then, and in here I've got a sandwich and a biscuit. So yeah, pots with various bits in. I'm not going to let you watch me eat, but I'll be back to you in a second once I've had something to eat. That was nice. best bit was that Greek salad we love. So I'm not overly keen on, we get these salads which are all like leaves and stuff, and it's a bit tastes like you're chewing grass. But Greek salad, like cucumber, tomato, red onion, oregano, or oregano, as you might say in the States, oregano, a little bit of mint I use as well, good olive oil, and a little bit of salt and pepper. Just season it a bit. And then I just put it in we've got a big sort of sealable lunchbox thing. I just shake the whole lot up in. Oh, feta, of course, feta cheese. And that does us for when we're having our dinner. We have it with a meal last night. So we had peri-peri chicken that I made. I do the cooking. Peri-peri chicken fries and a Greek salad. And yeah, it was just a bit left over. Put some in my wife's lunch this morning. I don't always make my wife's lunch. I made it this morning because she had fallen asleep. She'd had a bad night, so she'd kind of got ready and then fallen asleep. So I had to wake her up, and she was running a bit late. But so I made her some lunch, and she had a little pot of it, and I've had a little pot with it there, and it's absolutely lovely. Really nice, really nice. Oh, and I think I've probably eaten a few of these mozzies that have been biting me. So I think it's only fair though, because they've been biting me. So I can eat them, can't I? Surely, because I did see a couple of me crisps and I blew them off. But probably consume so many insects whilst you're eating out in the wild. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me. It's not going to do me any harm. So yeah, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna fly the drone, because I haven't been able to, and it's quite calm here. Even quite Harp, it looks quite calm. I think it looks like a really interesting place to fly. I haven't flown it for a while because the weather's not been right for it, or I've been on walks when it's been windy and haven't been out as much. So yeah, we're going to do that. And yeah, I'll be back to you in a minute once we have a little bit of a fly, and you can watch that footage right now. Right, quick flight on the drone, only one quick one. It was trying to keep my hand steady, controlling the drone whilst being bitten by mozzies. Well, they are. What are they? Midges. I've been calling them mozzies all the way. It's midges. So, yeah, I'm going to cross over. So I'm going to show you where I'm going to head back to the car. That's all it was. Quick one. Get some lunch. Obviously, really pleasant. Now itching all over. That's fine. This is lovely. Yeah. So head back. I'll cross over, I think, where I was before. Maybe down here. Oh, this might do it, actually. This clod in the middle. I can step onto that. I can easily step up, I think. There we go. He says, oh, that just broke can you see that? As I was stepping over there, that is just mud. So that just literally collapsed as I went to step up. I could have ended up in the water, and I should have done, because again, that's content, isn't it? No one wants to see me stay dry. But yeah, a little quick drone flight to show the woods where I am. And some bits here are a bit treacherous. Here we go, right. But that was nice. Apart from the midges, next time, if it's daytime, I might bring my candle, try that out. Because I guess camping here won't be much fun. I imagine that's probably why a lot of them have the little fires going. Still being bitten now. Because when you have a little fire, it keeps the midges away. Can really help. So that's probably part of it, isn't it, really? I could always bring my little twig burner up here. There's some fallen trees and some branches that'd be easy enough to... beautiful, isn't it? To grab some sticks from with the twig burner. And then keep that stoked going for as long as possible. And use the citronella candle lantern that will hopefully keep them away from the tent. Might be an idea. We'll see. Plans coming together. So I hope you didn't mind my little mental health chat. Just feel like it's something that clearly a lot of people need help with. I'm going to head back now home, but a lot of people need help with that sort of thing. And I know I find some of the camping videos, hiking videos and stuff like that. So I always mention it, but Paul Messner, Stephen J. Reed, there's plenty of others as well, but they're the two main ones that I watch. And they kind of help me. Good storytelling. So I didn't tell you the story of Montpelier Wood or Montpelier House, but we'll save that for when I come camping here, because I think that might be more exciting and more interesting, telling you these dark, gruesome stories late at night. So next time, maybe next time. But yeah, I'm really back at the car already, so it shows you how close I am. Oh, another thing, horseflies. Go away. We love the countryside. There's a lot of animals and sheep and stuff around here, so I'll check myself for ticks as well later when I get back. But yeah, it has that thing to it. Well, I do fancy just wandering across before I say goodbye. Across this little bridge on the stream. It looks quite nice. I've seen there was a car that was flying my drone that was parked next to me, and it's gone again already. So probably someone's stopping here, just parked up for some lunch. It's a great way of doing it, isn't it? Lots of people do that here as well. I've seen so many people just drive up to a little parking spot and have their lunch there. What a great idea. Beautiful stone walls. Love them. Some nice benches here as well. Some ruins over that way. I think Montpelier House is further. I think I can see a bit of it actually. See those trees up there. There's some remains of a house, I think. So we'll have a little wander next time, and then do a nice little chat about it. It might be impossible to do a camp up there. Can you imagine camping on the site of a spooky story? Well, this is just Wonderful. Absolutely great. Look, oh. So even here, if people say, oh, the water's lovely, you really do need to filter it if you're gonna probably boil it as well. But I've got a very good filter that would be fine. We're higher up here, so it's just going to be some like potential of dead animals and stuff like that, and definitely some animal waste. So you check around the area you're catching your water, make sure you're not right on top of anything dead, and then you catch your water and you filter it. But yeah, lovely. So another great spot. Clouds coming over those hills. Look at that, it's not. Perhaps I should do the goodbye here, and maybe there's a shot to be had for the thumbnail. What do you think? We could go further back? Do that here? What do you reckon? Can I catch the clouds though? It's kind of what I need to do. Right, so thank you for joining me on yet another walk. I've actually recorded 2 in 1 week, so that's good. I needed that. I tried to do a smile, because last time I struggled with when I was doing my thumbnails was finding a picture of me actually smiling. Oh. Wow! Or what do they do in their thumbnails? It's like, shock! Or something like that. Anyway, God, I'm so silly. Yeah, so you know what I'm going to say, don't you? Take care. Take care of yourselves. More importantly, take care of each other. God bless, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.